We have another structure we can use for branching or going to different parts of the code, and that's called a switch statement, or it can also be known as a case statement, or switch and case. And so if we take a look at the syntax of this in JavaScript, what we have is switch, and then we use a variable name here. So let's first of all, in fact, let's do it with an example. Let's say that I set up a variable and I call that day, and let's say that I put in the day, which could be Wednesday. So I say switch with my day. So this is my variable day, variable name here, and then open the structure with a opening brace, and then I will say case, and I put in what the case is. So the case could be Monday, and then I put in a colon, and then what I need to do will go in this section here, and then I finish each case with a keyword called break. And so then I put in the next case, so case of Tuesday, and then whatever code's going to go in, and then break. And what the break does is it sends it to the end of the structure here, and then case Wednesday, which is the one which we picked in this case, and whatever it's going to do, and then break out. And I think you get the idea that I can go down through the rest of the days of the week. And so if I was to run this bit of code, it would say, okay, put the string wed into the variable day, switch dependent on whatever's stored in the variable day, and come into here. So it's not Monday, it's not Tuesday, but it's Wednesday. So it'll come down from switch to Wednesday and then do whatever I've put in as this line of code here. And so let's take a look at this working with the previous example where we're using ifs, because actually a switch case statement would be a much better way to solve that. So I've already got some of the code which I had from my text adventure here. So it's putting welcome to the adventure, it asks for my name, then puts hi with my name after it, and gives me a score of 0. And then it asks me for a direction, north, south, east or west. So before, when I programmed this, I used if statements. However, this is one of the occasions, often if statements are a really good way to program, they're really, really useful and powerful. However, when we've got choices like we do here, rather than having our nested if statements or lots of if statements, I can do it all very smoothly with one switch case statement. And so what I say is I can say switch where I go to in the code based on the direction, like that. And then I start my structure off, and I will need to end my structure at the end. And that's pretty close to all I need to do. I now just need to go through each of the cases which I have. And so that's north. And then I'm going to do something for north. And then I've got the case of south. And I've got the case of east. And I've got the case of west. And so now when I look in this, so for the case of north, so I'm on my case of north, and so for this one I'm going to be saying document right, and this one is you escape the lair. And if we remember, I was going to take the score down. Oh, sorry, I was going to increase the score by 10. And in the case of south, so I'm going to say right, you get eaten by the dragon. And in this case, your score will go down by 10. And in the case of east, I'm going to say we reach another damp cave, and so the score won't change there. And in the case of west, I'm going to say you fall down a big hole, and I'm going to make their score go down by 5, just like last time. So this is exactly the same. There's no difference here to what I can do with if statements, but in this case where I'm picking out a direction, picking out a branch dependent on a variable, it's much, much easier and much neater to do it with switch and case statements. And at the very end of the program, I'm just going to put onto the screen, so I'm going to output your score is, and then I'm going to concatenate that with the score. And so let's just test this program to see that it runs as we would expect it to. So I put in my name, and then I put in north, and it says all of these here. Oh dear, it's all gone wrong. We don't want every single one. So I escape the layer, I get eaten by the layer, my score's gone wrong. Why is that? Remember, at the end I need to break. If I don't break, it will come into this case, and then it will run through all of the other cases. So what I want to do here is say this weird word, which is break, and break just means having finished this, go to the end. Don't keep on running everything. So put in those breaks, and that's the one risky thing about case and switch statements if you forget to do this. So let's try this again. So I put in my name, put in north, you escape from the layer and get a score of 10. That's fine. What about if I do this again and I put in south, so I get eaten by the dragon and I get a score of -10. Obviously I should be putting line breaks in, but this is okay for now. Let's try again, and so this time I go east and I reach another damp cave and get a score of 0, and let's go again with going west, and I fall down a big hole and I get a score of -5. So this works exactly the same as my if statements, but it's much easier to see what's going on than having all those nested ifs.